Hello, hello. Here we go. And this time, I'm not holding the laptop, although my dog just bounced into it. First and foremost, happy Valentine's Day to all you lovers out there. Love on. Love is in the air. You spend time with me. I appreciate it. Make sure you love your loved ones, friends, family, kids, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. But love is in the air, so let's celebrate that. I love that. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I've got to make sure that I've got the chats enabled. Somehow last time I pushed the wrong button. But we live chats, all messages are visible. There we go. We got some, see? This old dog is learning some new tricks. Thank you very much for joining me and putting up with all this technological stuff. But I just want to say, the Ask Me Anything on the YouTube channel has been incredibly popular. I've received a lot of requests on my, video 2 videos ago or so. I said I was more energized, more pumped, more excited, more fully energized. And I can tell you I've done more for the short-term rental university and the content and what it is that we're doing on a go-forward basis in the last, say, 48 hours than probably the last 24 months. So it's on, it's about to go down. You're gonna strap in and we're gonna buckle our seatbelts and we're going for an education, friends, like a legitimate education. So I'm really excited about it. I hope you are too. I think it's gonna be really helpful for many, but not all. Some are more advanced, some don't need it, some don't like the way that I think. That's cool. I'm only really trying to talk to the people that this resonates with. And if that's you, mille grazie. All right, let's see here. Without further ado, I'm going to start turning to the chats. There's already a lot of questions here, so I'm going to try to get to them all. But if I miss yours, just hit it again. And at the end of this video, it would be really cool if you guys liked the video so that other people see it and get an opportunity to learn from it. All right, other lollies here for the show. Let's do it. Evan, your property in Jackson Hole is stunning. Your team did such an incredible job. It's so much fun to watch it documented through the YouTube. Can't wait to follow OBX. Yo, OBX is going to be insane. The number of projects I have, the amount of land I have, the locations that it's in, the team that we've assembled, the design team, the methodology that we're using. Look, it's not going to be perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to bump my toe. I'm going to hit my head. I'm going to lose money here. There's going to be things that we learn along the way. Embrace that. That's entrepreneurial stuff, right? And then the next time I'll make fewer mistakes and different mistakes. And then the next time I'll make fewer mistakes and different mistakes. There'll still be mistakes, but who cares? I mean, you can't worry about perfection. You got to execute. You got to use your best knowledge. You have to learn from your mistakes. And if you're learning from your mistakes, then you're growing. All right, let's go. Richard is the crowd. Devin, listen, that's way too kind. Chris, how you doing, my friend? Happy Valentine's Day to you. I really appreciate it. All right, now, you made it, Richard. No need to be mad. Thanks for the invite. Happy Valentine's Day. Any chance you start doing the STRU podcast? Devin, so great question. And for the first time ever in STRU history, I have a content calendar, which means I know what I'm going to record and in what order and what the point of it is. And there's going to be mini series introductions. And check this out. So the content that we're creating, I am intending to release it in an orderly fashion, a progression, much like you would, if you were in a course or taking a class somewhere. And we're going to do similar ideas all the way from Twitter, which is the shortest form, 140 characters, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube videos now, 5-minute video on it. And then on that same topic, but rich with examples and real life experience, I'm going to do a podcast about that similar concept. So now you have anywhere from, if you want a quick soundbite, 140 character tweet, if you have 45 minutes to listen to a podcast and this old man just riffing about like whatever the content subject is, then the podcast is for you. And encapsulating all of that at the end of all this is a book, which will be even in greater detail and more information and also point you to links on the website. And so like the shit's about to go down, man. It's legit. So thank you for the question about the podcast. Would you ever create a public equity vehicle such as a REIT? I don't know about a REIT, but I have toyed with crowdfunding I've raised my first fund, which thank you to all my investors. And Chris, you know exactly what I'm talking about, so thank you. So that's my first foray into it. We'll see how that goes. I kind of have always been on the private placement side. When I ran a $4 billion portfolio, we couldn't advertise. We raised no retail money. In fact, part of my reticence in talking about my prior life as a hedge fund guy and all the amazing things that I learned was I was like brainwashed. Back then, I couldn't speak about it. I would be fired if I spoke to the press. I would be fired if I went Facebook Live. I would be fired if I had a YouTube channel. So like it was ingrained, hard code ingrained in me as a person to never talk about this stuff. And, I've come a full circle in 10 years to have this YouTube channel and start talking about it. And I haven't really talked about portfolio management and hedge funds and how to asset allocate and how to diversify, but we're about to. And so I still believe in private placement and working with accredited investors and people that can understand the risks that we're taking. But if I ever were to go more mainstream, I think I'd go crowdfunding as opposed to REIT. Public REIT is a lot of stuff. Let's see here. My goodness. We're just launching our first Airbnb. It's geared towards families. You know what I love about that, Susie? You're getting started. Congratulations. You've done the hardest thing. And you want to know what the second most important thing is that you said there? You know exactly who you're targeting. Your Airbnb is for a certain niche, families. It's not for this single guy. It's for the families, husband, wife, 2 kids. Great. Once you know what you're targeting, your success will be off the charts. If you don't know who you're attracting, then you won't have much success. It's like all over the place. The riches are in the niches. And if you try to speak to everyone, you speak to no one. I started this YouTube channel, not this YouTube channel, this YouTube Live, saying that if my message doesn't resonate with you, that's cool. Like, I'm okay with that. I don't need to have some huge number of followers for my ego or anything like that. I'd rather have 3 really passionate people that believe in what it is that I'm doing, think that my logic resonates with them, understand sort of my end goal, which is to help you, not only as an Airbnb host, but take the proceeds from Airbnb and generate wealth. Wealth comes from equity. Equity that compounds over time with little to no taxes. That's the formula. It's not that hard. But if you don't have the equity component, or you don't compound for a long period of time, or you pay a lot of taxes, then you're not following the formula. It still may work, and you may get a great quality of life and go out and buy a nice, suit or a fancy dinner, and that's cool too. But that's just not what I'm doing this for, right? I'm trying to generate like real family wealth, generational wealth that you can leave something for your kids and your grandkids long past the time that you want to buy a suit and a fancy steak dinner, right? So like if that resonates with you, then let's keep chatting. If you're kind of like, nah, I want to get rich quick and this is what I want to do right now, my tips probably still work, but we're not on the same wavelength. Anyway, sorry about that riff. I was just making sure that we're all on the same page about trying to know who you're talking to and then being cool with that. Like it doesn't matter if it doesn't work for everyone. It's not supposed to. All right, so Susie, congratulations. I love that. How can you secure a mortgage off your STRU income? So there's only one company I know. I've met with the CEO. He's an incredibly busy guy. We were supposed to do a podcast, but I just couldn't get it calendared with him. It's called Better Mortgage. Better Mortgage. Instant online. It's like the future of the mortgage. They're the fastest growing mortgage company. And they will take a look at your Airbnb and VRBO income and count it as income. Now, there are some restrictions, and I don't know exactly what they are, so look into it. But like, you can't just start your Airbnb and project that you're going to make $100,000 a year and have it count. Now, if you've done it for a year or two and you can show them that you paid taxes on the $100,000, then they will count it. So that's pretty cool, and I think that's the future of this business. So great question. Get started. Love your videos, content. Hello from Phuket. Josh, man, good for you. I love it. Living the life. I haven't been to Phuket in some 20 some odd years, but I'm due for a visit. Susie, you're very welcome. Devin, love the response. Listen, I love all of you guys. James, awesome brother. You are my guru from the shores of Lake Huron, Ontario, Canada. Proud to find event pricing, just building my first Airbnb. Thank you for your... Listen, Jamie, if you haven't seen the video, revenue is greater than ready. The single largest mistake I see people do is they get fearful, they want it to be perfect, they focus on the 5 stars, and they're waiting for the artwork to come in, the cable to be installed. Like there's all sorts of things that you can be waiting for. It's never perfect. It'll never be ready. So launch. Start getting your hosting skills on. You'll start getting people questioning about your pricing. Like these things that you need to do in real time, you can always turn them down. But launch, get that. I was going to curse. You know what? I'm not that comfortable cursing online, but I'm about to. Get that shit online. Do you have a minimum age limit for your renters? Yes, I've got adults. I don't know what it's set at, to be perfectly honest. And this is maybe, something that you should aspire for. I don't know very much about like my settings. I've set it and I forget it. I don't know very much about my calendar or my management or rates or who's in them or anything like that because I've assembled a team and they do all of that. They reach out to me when there's a question that is uniquely qualified for this guy, and then I'm happy to answer it. But like all that stuff, I set up. It's kind of like if you build a house, you may spend a ton of time on the foundation initially. How deep, how strong, what kind of cement, blah, 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 rebar, all this stuff, right? Once the foundation's in, unless there's a problem, you're not checking in on it. Now you're worried about the interior, you're living there and it's kind of drafty. So get the foundation solid, set it and forget it. I can't answer your question, but I do have a minimum limit and it's basically adults only. Whatever that setting is, it's on. I'm starting a new STR on Sunday with a partner, brother-in-law. Should I use my 5-star status on the listing or set up a new account for the two of us to manage together? So Beer Tap Borg, my friend, I guess it really comes down to who is doing the work. If you are doing the work, I would use your account and your Superhost accreditation because you will get off to a faster start. You will make more money. But if it's your brother-in-law, even though he's a great guy and he's your brother-in-law and he's a partner and he means well and he's really into it, partnerships fail, bro. And you do not want your reputation tainted because your brother-in-law went to the football game and forgot to answer and your response rate went down and blah, 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 blah. So I can't answer that question, but that's the way I kind of operate. I want my reputation in my hands because I'm the only guy who can build it or destroy it. Make sense? Anyway, congrats. Keep going. You got this. Whether you do it or he does it, new account, all that's like nonsense. The main thing is you get going. Woo! Why would you not open your own platform? Oh my goodness. KA from Kiev, my man or woman. I don't know. I don't know what KA is, but I have a very simple philosophy. If there's a platform that works for me and does most things pretty well, nothing's perfect, then I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I have another business, the first business I started after I got laid off in 2009. It's called Brilliant Transportation. We started the highest end executive transportation company in the depths of the financial crisis. I literally just got laid off. And then I had the, uncanny idea to start the most expensive, highest end ground transportation company that the United States of America has ever seen. Well, fast forward 10, 11 years later, we're still in business, we're profitable, blah, blah, blah. Put that aside. But I didn't start my own dispatch software because I just used one off the shelf. That was good enough. And then Hardik, my man, who I love, and check this out. Hardik is coming with me to Australia. Hardik, now it's official. The word is out. You can't back out. But I invited him as my guest to the Tony Robbins event in Australia in, was it May? He's never been out of the country. He's kind of nervous. He's outside of his comfort zone. But guess what? I'm paying, I'm buying, the man's coming with me, we're gonna grow together. And I'm so grateful for Hardik and everything he's done for me for years now that I must shout out to him. But the point is, rather than create a whole new dispatch system, we just add it on. Like the stuff that's missing, the stuff that I need, the thing that's happening in my crazy brain that like no one else has thought about, we create that and then we use APIs and we just pull the data and we manipulate it. So that's what we've done. And in fact, at some point, we're talking a matter of days now. Probably should just announce it now. We have 3 different products, I think. A website builder, a dashboard. I don't know. He's been working like a madman. Also commensurate with all the stuff that's going on with STRU, we have a whole suite of digital add-ons that I think are going to be super helpful. And the reason they're going to be super helpful is because they help me, and I built them for myself with Hardik's help. And then if they help you, great. And if they don't, who cares? Like, don't bother. That's no big deal. I think they'll help you though. All right. So what do I think mortgage rates are going to go up this year or stay steady? They are going to stay steady for the time being, but the long-term prognostication is up. So if that means you're going to search for a mortgage, try and get it locked now. If you're going to refinance, try and do that now. Try and get out of anything that's floating rate debt. Like if you have a HELOC that's floating rate debt, try and secure a fixed rate now. I think interest rates are going up, and that's bad for the single family home market. That generally means that prices are going down. So get some cash. I just filmed a video about this. Charles has got it in the can. He's going to release it, I don't know, in the next few days, which brings me to another point. In addition to having great content, we're also increasing the frequency of the delivery of the content. We're going back to 3 times a week, and I'm going to go ask me anything once weekly or as much as I possibly can. I have an insane travel schedule in 2019, so I may have to be a little bit flexible on the days and the times. As much as possible, I'd like to try and do it at Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But like next Wednesday is a case in point where I can't do it because I think either my friend is in town and we're skiing, or that's the day that I'm going to Whistler to the Tony Robbins Economic Summit, where he's got 6 billionaires, including Ray Dalio, the #1 hedge fund manager in the history of hedge funds. He's written a book called Principles. I recommend you read it. We're going to be talking about the economic conditions, how to profit for them, where the risks lay, where the opportunities are. So this mind is going to go get schooled, and I want to share it all with you. But that means that Wednesday at 9 o'clock, as I just announced that I'd be going YouTube Live, it may have to happen on Tuesday or Thursday, or maybe that week gets skipped. So just roll with the punches, friends. I mean well. I'm doing my best, but there's so much stuff happening. And by the way, if you like the fact that we're increasing the quantity of content to 3 times a week, plus a Ask Me Anything live, give a thumbs up, say yes, get excited, because you know what? Like, it kind of sucks if I'm the only one excited. But if we're all excited and we're all pumped up and we're all believing in this, then it's a party and it's a community and we're doing something together, and like that's the networking effect. So I'm going to look down below. I hope to see a bunch of yeses and some thumbs up, and it's free. It takes you 4 little characters. Like, why couldn't you help a brother out? All right, keep going on here. Mortgage rates. Okay, Lewis, I hope to build a property holiday portfolio with STRU. My friend, let's eliminate the word hope. You don't hope to do that. Hope doesn't manifest itself. It doesn't translate into anything. You know what hope does? It continues to have this dream effect, and you continue to hope. So, Lewis 11S, do me a favor and replace that with I am doing that. I don't care if it's in a day or a week or a month or a year. As long as you're doing it, you will do it. If you're hoping to do it, probably doesn't happen. In fact, I held somebody accountable, and that brings up another unbelievable thing. Thank you. You know, I have so many thoughts. I apologize. There's a gentleman on our Facebook group. If any of you are not on the Facebook group, you owe it to yourself. Go to the Facebook group, Short-Term Rental University, sign up, and join us. There's about 12,000 like-minded hosts. It's a very positive community. We're upbeat. We try and help each other out. We don't try and beat each other down. So it's a great networking environment, great answers, really a lot of incredible hosts from just beginning all the way to super experts. And I moderate it, I'm involved, I answer some questions, but by and large, it's the community, which is super cool. And so I was helping a gentleman yesterday. He had a hope. I forget exactly what it was, but he hoped to do, I know what he hoped to do. He hoped to scale his business because he was running all of the operations himself. And some of the things we're going to talk about are being an owner, not an operator, how you work on your business, not in your business. We're going to try and get people a little bit of freedom from being like a slave to the STRU, because requests can come in 24 hours a day and problems with the plumbing and, stuff happens. We get it. But the goal here is to empower you to move beyond that and be an owner, not an operator. And this gentleman, Chris, said something similar, like, I hope to get it done after blah. It was like after I refinance and whatever. You can see the thread in Facebook. And I asked him to replace the word and to change his mind. And I asked him when, and he, avoided the answer a little bit. And in the end, he gave me a date. He was going to do this by July 1st. And I said, great. I'm going to check back in with you July 1st to make sure that that's done. You know why? Accountability. Public accountability is the single best way for people to do the stuff that they mean to do, that they hope to do, that they want to do, that they intend to do. Everything is good and positive, but like we as individuals, humans, do not hold ourselves accountable to the same degree as other people do. That's why when you have a physical trainer, you go to the gym. That's why when you're on a team, you go and play the sport. But if you were doing it alone, you might sleep in, you might skip it, you might do this. But when you're part of something bigger than just you don't want to let people down and also let yourself down. So it's called public accountability. So check this out. On the Facebook group, my man Hardik has made something called, I think it's a unit. It's new to Facebook. It just happened. There's a tab somewhere. I don't even know where, but it's called Team Accountability. It's really simple. It's free. It's a tool. It's meant to help you. What we want you to do is to post what you want to do and a date. And then we are going to send automated reminder emails to make sure of your progress, to make sure that you accomplish what you want to do by the date that you want it done. This isn't for me. This isn't for the community. This is, I need help. I want to buy my second unit. I want to partner with someone. I want to try rental arbitrage. Like, I don't care what it is. It's your goal. We want your goal and we want a date, and it's going to be part of the Facebook group, and other people are going to be there checking it out, and we're going to comment and we're going to ask questions and we're going to help you, and then we're going to keep you on track by monitoring your progress and helping you reach that goal. And if we start doing that and then we post another goal and another goal and another goal, your confidence is going through the roof, your success is going through the roof, your profits are going through the roof, and it's a simple little hack. Team accountability on the Facebook group. So I would love somebody to go there and get the party started. I don't think anything has been posted there. We just did this last night after I worked with Chris, and Hardik had the brilliant idea. It was like, why don't we just make that so that everyone can post their goal and their date, and then we'll just help them along the way. And I was like, yeah, done. So like that, or say yes, or put team accountability, do something so we know that this makes some sense. And then go to Facebook. That's the key thing. Don't just like it and like forget about it. What do you want to do? By when, and let us help you, the team, the community, technology, emails, get this stuff done, man. Whatever it is, we can help you. Woo! All right, we got something here. All right, so Lewis, you're no longer hoping. Lewis, I hope to see on that Facebook team accountability tab that you are building a property holiday portfolio using short-term rentals and a date. Do it, my friend. All right, any suggestions on shopping for Airbnb liability insurance? Proper insurance, very expensive, but worth it. We did a podcast and a Facebook Live with them. Proper insurance. I think that's the way to go. My house is in my name. Can I set up an LLC for handling the finances of my Airbnb? Yes, you can. But if you're going to do that, then you need to transfer the deed into the LLC name. Most banks don't particularly like that because it's once removed. I don't condone doing it without their approval, but it happens all the time. They do have the legal right. And this is kind of the same thing with like rental arbitrage. Like, it happens all the time and it works until it doesn't work. You can create an LLC. You can transfer the deed for no consideration, which means it's a non-taxable event, assuming that, the member of the LLCs are the current owners. If you put somebody else in the LLC too, like your mom or your girlfriend or whatever, now the ownership has changed and that's a taxable event. But assuming that it goes from Richard's name to a single member LLC with Richard as the only owner, there's no consideration, no tax effect. You can do that deed transfer for like the filing fee, $50 or whatever the number is. And you could ask your bank and they're likely going to tell you no. Or you could do what most people do. And I've done this through my divorce. I didn't have much of a choice. We just did it. And as long as we keep paying timely the mortgage, chances are that they will never look and they will never call the note. Although technically they could call the note. I'm in a position financially where that's a risk I'm willing to take. And if they call the note, I'll either get another note or I'll just pay it off. But technically, that's what they could do. In actuality, if you are paying the mortgage, they're not going to do that unless the bank gets sold and there's new owners. Again, like there's these risks in hidden in risk arbitrage and in this stuff that you can't contemplate. What if the bank was bought by another bank and it's part of the due diligence of the transaction? The acquiring bank hires a team of lawyers to do all this due diligence, and they say, wait a minute, this loan is supposed to be in Richard's name. Now it's in an LLC's name. Let's call the note. Unforeseen, unlikely. I never expected it, but it could happen. I live with the risk. I do host in New York. I'm on 30-day rentals in New York City. I'm going to film a video about sort of how that has worked out. Long answer, it's gone really well. I can't believe how much demand there is for people that want to be there for 30 days or more, with the exception of that one problem tenant or guest that I had where, we just didn't hit it off, and we filmed a variety of small mini-series on that. Have I heard of Plum Guide? If so, what are my thoughts? I have heard of Plum Guide. They've called me 17,000 times. They've got a great sales team. I'm impressed with that. They really have their ability to keep, they have to make, excuse me, they have to make 100 calls to get 99 no's and that one yes. And the guy who's been calling me, I've told him no 100 times. I don't know what I think about it because I've never really used it. I guess it doesn't really hurt, but they're going to take a large percentage of your premium. So if that's what you want to do, then try it. I mean, I have no problem trying anything, right? Let's see here. It's Mario from Tulum. Man, I love Tulum. I haven't been there in a long time either. Whoa, I lost this here. Sorry, Mario. There's just so many questions, and I better try and speed this up or we're not going to get through this all. Okay, what's the best way to achieve a good SEO positioning within Airbnb, and is it intelligent to put a small 10-room hotel up for Airbnb? Thank you very much. Hey, Mario, all I would say about SEO is it's out of your hands. There's nothing you can really do to game it. I've heard things about changing your prices frequently and update the listing, and response time really helps. Your ratings really help. The popularity really helps. There's all sorts of people that like to get wish lists. Maybe that helps or maybe it doesn't help. But what I've said in the past is anything like that Airbnb can then run a screen and be like, does this place have way more wish lists than it deserves? You can get what's called black hat dinging in SEO. If you try and game the system, it can come back and bite you in the butt. So I worry not about that at all. I just worry about being the best marketer, presenting my property as best as possible, dynamic pricing, responsiveness, hosting, and you do that, you win. So don't worry about the trickery. You know what? For the 10-room Airbnb listing, try it. Hell yeah, why not? The fees, 3% for all the marketing and the platform and the people that they bring. I've done a video on that too. That's a bargain. You could never do that for 3%. Whether or not it works, I don't know. There's only one way to find out. And that's the way I live my life. I don't know if any of this stuff works, but I try it. And then I learn, and then I iterate, and then I, bang into a wall, and I bounce back, and I look at it, and I try again. So try it. Other lowly, Richard, you have no idea how much you're helping and impacting. You were the most important piece for me to start my business. I like to think I'm a other lolly. Grazie. I don't know why I'm speaking Italian, but whatever. That's just the way it feels. I really appreciate that. You guys have no idea. Some of these emails that I get from people that I've helped, I mean, it's so impactful. You know what I do with them? Check this out. I send them to my daughters because, to be honest, they're a little embarrassed that their dad has long hair and he's on YouTube, and he's got this big fancy Wharton MBA and worked in this big fancy office his whole life and flew private and all that stuff. And that's sort of the image of the dad that they knew at once and wanted. And then I get these emails from people who are like, you have changed my life. You were the impetus behind me getting started and off this. And I left this bad relationship and started this. And now I'm working with my kids and my family, and we're progressing and we're growing. And I send that to my kids and my girlfriend, and we're all blown away. So please, if I've helped you in any way, like the video, send me an email. I respond to this stuff. It really, really motivates me. It's the energy that keeps me going. And I need it. I'm human. So I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because I genuinely want to help you. But if as a byproduct of that help, I get some love back in return, think about it. I'm human. Of course that helps me. So I really appreciate it. Nobody needs to, fan my ego. That's not the point. But like, if I've helped you, I appreciate hearing back. So other lowly, thank you so much. Kenneth, love the vids. My wife and I are listing our first Airbnb this week. Awesome. I love that. We were thinking about making a short home video tour of a place for guests after they book. Is this a good idea? I would say the following, Kenneth. Anything that comes to your mind is a good idea. There is no bad idea. Every single business that started off as a bad idea, an unproven idea. Airbnb was a terrible idea. They couldn't get financing. They went to like dozens and dozens of VCs. Everyone turned them down. Nobody in their right mind is going to let a stranger stay in their car. Uber, same thing. Nobody in their right mind is going to get into a stranger's car. These are terrible ideas. Oh, yeah? Well, now they're worth billions of dollars. How terrible an idea was that? So what I would say is do it. It may be your secret weapon. And if it is, come on the Facebook group and let us all know. I filmed a video about making a introduction video showing people how to get in and out. So that's on the YouTube channel. That was probably about 15, 16 months ago. But I just want to encourage you to keep thinking and keep trying new things and experimenting. And that's entrepreneurship, my friend. Like that little question, is this a bad idea? No, it's not a bad idea. It's a great idea until it's proven to be a bad idea. And then take a look at the data and investigate a little, dig down a little bit. Like, what about it didn't work? Can we modify something else? Was it too long? Was it too short? Was it only in one language? Like, it's a great idea, but you gotta give it legs. You gotta give it life. You gotta give it breathing room. You gotta keep learning through it. And that's the whole thing about entrepreneurship. Every single one of us can do this, but we're so accustomed to immediate gratification or somebody patting us on the back or somebody telling us like, yeah, that's a great idea. You're the best at it. That like, it's become part of our psyche. We need that. We need that comfort, that security. And if I can help you, cool. But the real help is in having you discover for yourself that you can make little mistakes, get little paper cuts, bleed out a little bit, but you're not going to die. You're not even going to lose your finger. One of the best things that I've heard, Jeff Bezos has had some personal problems that I'm not particularly fond of. So this isn't a Jeff Bezos love thing. But he said something that I thought was incredibly smart. And for those of you who don't know, I think he's also the wealthiest person in the planet right now. And you've certainly heard of Amazon. So he's good at what he does. He said something about how he and his ex-wife, I guess they're getting divorced now, allow their 7-year-old child to work in the kitchen with sharp knives and cut stuff for dinner. And somebody said, that's like not a good parent. You're going to injure your kid. Your kid's going to get cut and so on and so forth. And this is the point of this story. Jeff Bezos said something that I thought was so remarkable. He said, I would rather have a child with 9 fingers who's resourceful and able to fend for themselves than a child who's completely dependent on my wife and I with 10 fingers. Like, stop and think about that for a second. How true is that? If you could enable your kids to be resourceful and entrepreneurial and solve problems and not get deterred when they hit a roadblock, but just keep moving on and keep pressing, that child is going to win far more than whatever early success they keep having. They did well in school, they got an A and they got an A and they're on this team and this. Like, at a certain point, your natural God-given talents run out. You run up against higher competition, greater competition. My kids are all ski racers and they attend a ski camp, or they did, by somebody who's an inducted Hall of Famer, Eric Seiler. I filmed a video on that. I think it's on a different channel a long time ago. Unbelievable guy. He's like 90 years old. He still goes to the top of the mountain, from Austria. Incredible coach. He's trained all the best, including Lindsey Vonn, who just retired. So when I asked him about Lindsey Vonn, I said, how did you know that she was as good as she is? Like, what tipped you off? And his answer really surprised me. He said, I had no idea. She sucked when she got to our, training facility and was just picking up the sport. She was just like everyone else. And I said, wow, how did she get to be, so good? She's like the most decorated female skier ever. And she started off and she sucked. And he said, she had a work ethic like nobody else. She trained like nobody else. She listened to the coaches like nobody else. She worked harder than everyone else. She had a hunger and an appetite like nobody else. And I said, so you recognize that? And he said, yes, it took some time, but I recognize that. And then he said something that was interesting. He said, as a coach, I would take the worst performer with the best work ethic and the ability to rebound versus the prima donna, naturally talented person every single day of the week. And I said, why? If you've got somebody who's got natural talent, why not train that? And his response was, the people with the natural talent have been told their entire life how good they are, how smart they are, how pretty they are, how good a skier they are. And that runs out at a certain point in time. There's somebody who's faster, stronger, prettier, whatever. And they have no idea how to deal with rejection. They've never faced it. So as soon as they deal with rejection, suddenly they quit the sport. Oh, it's not interesting anymore. I don't know. And so they go from gold, 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 silver, 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 bronze, bronze, quit. Versus the scrappy startup Lindsey Vonn, 28th place, 28th place, 25th place, 25th place, 23rd place, 23rd place. You get the drift. We could stay here all night. Interesting thought from a world-class Hall of Inductee ski coach who coached Lindsey Vonn. That's the real deal. So my point in all this is you got to learn to make mistakes. You got to learn to rebound. You got to learn not to get hurt and upset. It's not an emotional game. Your idea is as good as anyone else. There's tons of lessons in there. Try everything. All right, Hardik, Tim, hello, Dreaming Tata, Vegan Mama. What is your experience with cities closing down STR? I think this is a huge risk, and I think it's a risk that continues and continues at a accelerating pace. I don't think it's possible that it goes away forever, and I think there'll probably be a few reversals. But that's an area why, I encourage people to own the homes as opposed to doing, say, rental arbitrage. Because if you own the home for the right reason in the right location, like, for instance, I used to own a home in Crested Butte, Colorado. I love to ski. I love Crested Butte, and I own the home. So while short-term rentals are really lucrative there, if for any reason they said it's no longer allowed, well, I still love the area. I still want to go there. I still want to retire there. And maybe now I rent it for the season, right? So like I can pivot that way. But if you're in rental arbitrage and something like that happens, well, now you got 10 months left of payments, or maybe you signed a 2-year lease so that you wouldn't get like stopped out, and you have 22 months of payments or something like that. So it's a big deal, and it's unfolding, and I think it's going to continue to evolve. I personally look to invest in short-term rental cities where there's a clear legality. And also, this is kind of odd for a guy that really likes to encourage people to defer taxes as long as possible and minimize your taxes to generate the most wealth. I like to own short-term rental units in cities that tax the income on short-term rental units. And it's a really simple thing. It's a little bit like drugs. Once the community has this income coming in from short-term rentals, and they're building schools and paving roads and whatever else they do with the money, it's really hard to say like, oh, we don't like that anymore, and we're no longer going to pave the roads or fix the schools. Like, that doesn't work. So once they've got a tax system in place, it's kind of a good indication for me that that's likely a long runway place where I can operate for a long time. All right, what do I still think? Short-term, 2 or 3 days is best for length of stay. I think that turnover is healthy. I like to have more people in my place versus less. I'm not even sure of my settings, but I think I don't even have any minimums anywhere. And I find that generally speaking, that allows me to pick up somebody who comes in for 1 day or 2 days, and we fill the gap and, experiment with it. But yeah, I don't recommend doing like 4 or 5 day minimums. It's kind of, look, in the OBX where I'm starting this project, there's a place that I've stayed in the past. It's not a short-term rental, but it's the only lodging. And they have 4-night minimum. And in the peak periods, it's a 7-night minimum. And like they can get away with it because there's no alternative. So like there's no cancellation. And so like it just works, but it's not very hospitable. It's not very friendly. And so you know what happens? This guy comes in, cancellation policy is friendly, minimum night stay is friendly. And some people, although this isn't my goal, are going to elect to stay with me because I kind of disrupted what's there. So, it's a balance. It's a balance, and it's a very personal decision. If you're doing the cleaning yourself and you work another job, that's going to impact things. But what I would tell you there is stop doing the cleaning yourself. Like anyone who's doing the cleaning themselves right now on this YouTube live needs to go to the team accountability thing and tell me you're going to stop doing the cleaning and you're going to outsource that. It's not the best use of your time. It's exactly the kind of thing that you should be paying somebody for and training them to your standards, and all this nonsense about they don't clean as well as I do. Okay, fine, maybe true. Probably not, but maybe true. But get on the accountability board and tell me when you're going to hire somebody. We're going to help you get free from that. Like, you shouldn't be an Airbnb host and cleaning. How many cities? I don't have a great strategy for short-term rentals in areas that are not legal. Here we go. A lot of the yeses. Yeah, buddy. There are 56 watching, but only 6 like. Don't forget to like, folks. Jay, I mean, seriously, thanks for the help. My man says there's 56 people watching. Now we have 28 likes. Like, some of you don't like this. You're bored. It's Valentine's Day, and I'm not adding any value. You're not. There we go. 30. Come on, 31. 32. 33. Somebody. Nope. All right. I guess the 33. We got 30 people on now that don't like this. I don't know. Then bounce. Richard, I know I'm your ride or die. CL, just call me spongy because I'm soaking up everything you're putting down, bro. Listen, not only are you soaking up everything I'm putting down, you're my Valentine. I know you played coy and hard to get, but I'm coming at you, CL. I'm going to get you. You're my Valentine, baby. Whether you like it or not, that's it. You heard it here first. I'm putting that on the team accountability. CL is my Valentine for 2020. By 2020, February 14th, CL's my Valentine. Carly, CL, you cracked me up. Joey, in which place do you reside most of your time? Joey, I live, and my domicile is here in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I'd like to spend more time here, but I've got a lot of different businesses and commitments, and I've got 3 kids on the East Coast and a girlfriend on the East Coast. And in 2019, I've got an unbelievable travel schedule. I've joined this Tony Robbins Platinum group. So next week, I'm going to Whistler. Then in March, I've got 3 weeks of spring break. I'm going to be down in Florida with one kid, on college tours with another kid, in the Bahamas with another kid. So like all of March, I'm traveling. Then in April, I'm going to Australia for the Tony Robbins thing. And then I'm going to go to the Great Barrier Reef and scuba dive. And then in May, I'm going on the Tony Robbins adventure trip. So like, they don't even announce where that is. I don't know where in the world I'm going, but it'll be somewhere exotic and an adventure and something I wouldn't have planned before, with incredible people and incredible access. And so I'm doing that in May. And so you get the drift. Like, my calendar for 2019 is insane. And I'm doing all of this stuff and all of this content and all these videos and the book and all that stuff, and doing all the traveling, right? And I said this in the Facebook Live, I think earlier today, like, it's not an or, it's an and. I can do this and I can do that. I can do this and that and that and that. Like, I can do it all. Why couldn't I do it all? Right? So many people, now we're at 45 likes. That means we're only down to 18 people who are like, I don't like this at all. This is a terrible use of my Thursday, or is it Thursday? February 14th, Valentine's, a terrible use of my time. But anyway, so I would say Jackson Hole, Wyoming is where I spend the majority of my time. Next, as soon as we start construction, I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and Jackson Hole, and the East Coast, and traveling, and Australia, and adventure trip, and. And that's just the way it is. Like, you just make it happen. Richard, can you please talk about Tennessee State for STR? I don't know anything, Pedro, about STRs in Tennessee, other than I understand Nashville to be a great city. Some regulatory risks, but since we're talking about Nashville, August, I forget the dates, 2nd and 3rd, something like that, or 5th and 6th. I'm not ready to announce it, but we're doing a very small, intimate gathering. 36 of the people who raise their hand and say, I want more of Richard. I want more personal attention. I want more growth. I want to really expand my business. I want Richard's help. And I want to be in a small community with 36 people. And I'm going to go to Nashville, and I'm going to be at the inaugural, very first STRU. And I don't know whether we're calling it live or boot camp or workshop or seminar. Like, I'm not focused on the how. Right? I'm focused on the why. The why is I want to help people. A lot of people have asked me to coach or participate or phone calls or consult or whatever. And I have so many people that are asking that I can't do it one-on-one yet, given all my travel schedule and all that. But I can carve out a couple of days, 2 days in Nashville in August. It's on the calendar. I've got the location. It's all said and done. I've created the content that I'm going to, deliver there. And I've got to tell you, I am pumped. I am really, really excited. I think it's going to be instrumental. I think it's going to generate breakthroughs. I think people are going to come out of that and be like, holy smokes, my life is changing right before my eyes. And the main thing there is to get people to like take action and little things. Go to the accountability board, just do that. If you want help, let us help you. Nashville, August, 2 days, 36 people. It's going to be legit. And if you can't make it, that's cool. No problem. I'm pretty sure we'll fill out with 36 people and then we'll do it again, maybe in 6 months or whatever. So if you can't make the first one, don't sweat it. If you can make the first one, it'd be super cool to be one of the first 36, and I would certainly appreciate it. Other Lolly, I'd like to talk about the dynamics of partnering with members, for example. Great idea. All right. Another idea that I had, and it's underutilized, but this is exactly a great opportunity to talk about it, is another Facebook group. We called it the STRU Investment Platform or something like that. And that's supposed to help people who want to partner with other people. Not necessarily me, although I look at what's there. It's pretty sparse right now. But there's a lot of people who want to grow and expand. There's people who have great locations that they've identified and need capital. There's a lot of people who have capital that don't want to host. So as part of the community, I thought it would be a great matchmaking place. Tony, meet other Lolly. You guys take it offline. You do whatever you want. If it works for you, great. But if we've got this community of like-minded people, that's a great starting point. That's much better than trying to educate somebody on STR or what it is or how we do it. So we created this platform. You can go there and start using it. Post whatever you like. If there's a great place that you want to buy, post the link. Let people check it out. If you want to raise money, if you've got money, use it. Jeff, what's up? Thumbs up. Carly, I see it. No postings yet. See, what's up with that? No postings. Nobody wants help. Nobody has a goal. Nobody has a deadline. Nobody wants us to help them be accountable. It's kind of like losing weight. If you want to lose weight, the best way to do it is stand up in a big room and embarrass yourself and raise your hand and say, I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 30 days. I virtually guarantee that you will lose 10 pounds in 30 days. The best way to fail at that is to just tell it in your head. I'd like to lose 30 pounds. Or 10 pounds in 30 days. It's not going to happen. We need help. That's why there's huge coaching businesses. That's why there's, all sorts of stuff to help people reduce and eliminate their self-limiting beliefs, because at the end of the day, I guarantee you every single one of us, myself included, could lose 10 pounds. In fact, I've been trying for the longest time to get back to 175 pounds. Now, it's much easier for me when I don't host people, when my kids come, when my girlfriend comes, when all these friends come, we eat big meals. And no matter how many calories I burn, I can't seem to lose it. But when I'm alone, I can get it done. I've got right here photographic proof, my friends. I think I did this just yesterday. It's going to be really hard for you to see. Who sees that? 174, yo. Boom. I lost the 10 pounds. I'm below my goal. Now my goal is to keep it off. I didn't need the accountability because it's serious and it's important to me. But my point is, we can all lose 10 pounds. You just need to really mean it and then do whatever you need to do. So let us help you do whatever you need to do and use the accountability tool. Carly, you'll post after the video. Thank you so much. Okay, see you on Facebook. I've got this. Whoops. Jeff, I was right at you, my friend. And then my computer sort of spazzed out, and we have so many things here. Who's going to join you for the future videos, like the ones with proper insurance et al? I'm not 100% sure who the experts are going to be. One of the things that I've been hearing from other people when I've asked for feedback is that the other guests are great, but if the topic isn't of interest, then they're not of interest, but they'd still be interested in hearing from me. So for the time being, I'm going to try, and what I've done is create sort of chapters or mini-series, modules of content that I want to deliver, and hopefully in a very clear order that's really going to help people take their game to the next level. And I'm going to spend all of my time and energy creating that content to help you in depth progress. And I'm going to worry less about all of the calendaring of experts that could be helpful if it's a topic that you're interested in, and give you more of me for the time being. We'll see how that works. Maybe you guys will get sick of me. Maybe you'll like it. I don't know. We'll find out. Again, it's an experiment. Which type of incorporation do you think is the best? There is no best. That said, I would say LLCs are the most modern, the most used, the most common, the most user-friendly. So I'm a fan of LLCs. I probably have 12 of them. Allstate just started STR homeowner insurance, just transferred them from proper matches. Okay, that's great to know. Pedro, see, this is why we've got a community. I didn't know that. I'm no expert, but I've created a community of like-minded people that want to share and advance one another. And Pedro Talarico just hooked us up. Allstate's rolling out a short-term rental business, probably for less money, according to him, for proper. Now we can price comparison shop. That's awesome. Thank you, Pedro. I really appreciate it. The name of the Facebook group, my friend M. Scasey98, is Short Term Rental University on Facebook. While searching for my first property on Zillow, how do I know which building is allowing STR? You don't know. You have to do your homework. There are no shortcuts. It's a process. That's what keeps the people out that are kind of lazy or not willing to do the hard work. So do the work. You'll figure it out. If you want to do this bad enough, you'll figure it out. Do you think Airbnb is oversaturated with hosts? Rebecca, I don't think Airbnb is oversaturated with hosts. I think the demand side is growing faster than the hosting side. So there's an imbalance. It's Econ 101. When there's more demand than there is supply, prices go up. That said, I think we're reaching a point where the growth trajectory is slowing, which is why Airbnb wants to go public. You want to go public at your peak growth. That's where you get the most multiple, right? If you've already peaked and you're starting to come down, it's kind of like you want to sell your house at the top of the market, not when it comes off. So I still think short-term rentals and Airbnb have a very bright future. It's a long-term hold for me. It's still paying a multiple of what long-term rentals are, 12-month leases, which is why the rental arbitrage thing exists. You can rent a place for $1,000 a month and maybe make $2,000 on short-term rentals. There's a lot more risks involved. I'm not advocating it. I'm just giving an example. But guess what's going to happen? Multifamily, long-term owners, people that own 6 families and 10 families and 24 families, they're going to start watching my videos, and they're going to hear from Airbnb, and they're going to start like staying at Airbnbs, and they're going to say, why don't I convert like the gentleman before? I've got a 10-room. Why don't I convert it all to Airbnb? Now, multifamily rentals, the buildings, the cap rate is really compressed. It's such a good investment that a lot of people, a lot of capital have flooded into multifamily. So they will accept a very modest rate of return. Let's call it 6%. Now, if I'm making 6% and I can do something on short-term rentals on Airbnb and make 12%, it's a no-brainer. I do that. I keep doing it. More capital flows into the space. Now I'm accepting 11%. You know, I like 12, but 11 is fine because I was making 6. Keep fast forwarding. Now I'm making 10. Now I'm making 9. Now I'm making 8. At a certain point, there's margin compression where the difference between long-term multifamily and short-term individual units or whatever will compress. So the point being, I don't think we're there yet, but I'm just forecasting what will happen, what you should be looking at as more and more entrants, especially real pools of money, institutional money, people that own thousands of units, start coming into the short-term rental space. The amount of money that you and I, the individual hosts, the onesie-twosies, make will go down. It's still really attractive, and I think it'll be really attractive for a long time. But that's the primary reason that I want to encourage you to save as much as possible, build equity, start to invest in yourself. And we're going to cover this in some of these upcoming videos. Start to invest in things outside of real estate. Start to invest in other kinds of real estate. Start to diversify. Start to take some risk that you're not comfortable with, not for the purpose of taking risk, but for the purpose of educating yourself and for the purpose of diversifying and the purpose of generating like long-term wealth, assets, pools of assets, legacy for your kids and so on, right? Like, that's where we're going to go. So for the people that really want to do that, this is going to be invaluable. For the people that are in for a quick buck and just want to make, some money right now, maybe it's less interesting, but that's kind of like short-sighted in my opinion. What you really need to be thinking about is the long game. You know how Jeff Bezos became the #1 richest man in the world? He laughed at Wall Street for decades. They kept saying, you're never going to make it. You're going to run out of money. You're cash flow negative. You're not making any money. And he was like, what I envision is 20 years in the future, not this quarter, next quarter, 20 years forward. And he was so adamant about it and so certain and so convicted in his like belief system that he would listen to nobody else. And, you know, when you become the world's richest man, I would kind of say he was right? Like he was right. So I want all of you to start thinking not so much about the next mortgage payment or the next vacation or the next, you know, whatever steak dinner. And I want to start thinking about like, if I save that steak dinner and it compounds for 20 years and I don't pay taxes on it for 20 years, like that steak dinner turns into a, I don't know, a car. Like literally, that's the power of compounding. So we're going to work through all that for those of you who like it. I haven't heard of turnover Airbnb. Do you feel it's better to have repeat guests or new blood? You know, it's kind of interesting. I almost have no repeat guests with very few exceptions. You know why? Because my calendar doesn't allow it. I get requests from repeat guests saying like, hey, I'd like to come, whatever, but I don't see it available on the calendar. And I'm kind of like, you're right, it's not available on the calendar. So unfortunately, the platform's a little bit more transactional than I would like. But that said, they could always rebook immediately. It's just people don't really work that way. But I find in my locations, with the exception of one person who's renewed, I think 3 or 4 years, and now they keep increasing it. Now they're taking the entire month this summer. You know, it started as 2 weeks and then 2 weeks. And then they said, we love it so much, we want to take the whole month. So we do that early and block the calendar for them. Do I ever think banks will approve loans to buy already established? Yes, I do. There's no doubt about it. We're still in the very early days, so banks are conservative and they're slow to act. They're filled with risk and worry and conservative and all of that. But there is zero difference, in my opinion, about a multifamily loan, a commercial multifamily loan, and a commercial single-family or multifamily short-term rental. The only variable there is vacancy, which comes down to the individual, the host. How good are you? But now we have all sorts of metrics like anonymous star ratings and superhosts and all these things. So they'll figure out some way to do that, just like they figure out your credit score. And they will start to loan in a commercial fashion for short-term rentals, just like they do long-term rentals. No doubt about it. I just started my first Airbnb February 4th, booked solid till the 24th, and you have 26 days in March. Lee Pierre Sherry. You gotta raise your rates, my friend. Yeah. Oh, is it time to increase rates or continue as is? It's a lot of work, but it's well worth it. Raise your rates. No question about it. Raise your rates. And like not $1, not $5. You know, I don't know what you're charging, but a lot. And then you'll find where the market clears. Like if you raise it too much, you won't get any bookings. Then you lower it a little bit. I recommend dynamic pricing. I'm a big fan of Beyond pricing. It's worked incredibly well for me. Ottawa, Canada, 2-bedroom. Yeah, Safiya, raise your prices. Better yet, connect to. Man, look at that. Safiya Shabazz, love you. We think the same. Robert Johnson, I'm renting out my house on the beach this summer. Should I set a minimum number of days so I don't have someone staying a 3-day weekend, possibly losing the other 4 days? What is optimal? Use weekend pricing. You make enough money on the weekends so that you don't care if it's vacant or not. And then if you book during the week, that's just bonus. But you should make all your money in the summer in a summer location on the weekends and not worry about the weekdays. That's just gravy. T.H. Wong from Kyoto House. How are you? Arigato. I've learned a lot. Please continue to advise us. My man, no doubt about it. Pedro, talk about ways to create smaller business from our STR properties, like partnering with local businesses and get something back. You know, I think that it's really a great idea, and I've thought a lot about it. In fact, I tried this tablet. I think it was called Your Home or Welcome Home, and the whole concept was to be able to upsell things like services and tours and all that. That didn't really work for me at all. I just returned the thing. But I think I like where you're thinking, and I like the it's called increasing the ADR. That's what hotels do, right? Like they get you in the door and then they offer you things like cabanas by the pool for the day and a nightclub and then restaurants. And so like once they have you there, they try and get as much money out of you in a good way. I don't mean that, I'm not being negative about it. They try and give you as much service and value add so that you spend more money there. And we as hosts, that's the next leg of it. I've yet to figure out a very good way to do it that's scalable. It seems like a lot of these things are one-off, and I don't really get attracted to the one-off thing. So turn to the community. Guys, what have you done? Post it on Facebook. Let's see what's going on. All right, Sam, I've been watching you and another guy for a year now, since March of 2018. Get my price more or at 92% booked every month. I'm ready to do wholesale leasing homes and turning it into an Airbnb. Awesome, Sam. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for letting me know. I would just say, if you get your price 92% of the time, you are too low. Raise your price. I think the optimal occupancy, like hotels, is somewhere around 75%. There's a lot of wear and tear. There's a lot of work. If you're doing all that work and you're fully occupied, you have room to raise your prices. Get comfortable with some vacancy. That's a great time to do like repairs and maintenance and get, whatever, the electric company in there to read the electric meter. There's all sorts of things that need to happen. Make sure you are pricing high enough so that you have some slack in the system so you can get like wear and tear repaired and, the rug cleaned and all that stuff. American Military, good channel on YouTube. Thank you, friend. Lori Hines, how are you? I've been working on a vacation rental platform for vacation rental owners in dev for 3 years. Owners can commit time. I'm putting my goal on STRU now. Love it. Thank you so much. Where do you hit the like? I think it's in the upper left-hand corner, like right where it says live. Greetings from Mexico, CL. Jesse, how are you? Rebecca, how do I like it? Great tips. Richard, what do you think about the Amazon trading? Is it easier than Airbnb? I don't know anything about it, KA. Please let us know on the Facebook group. How do you like it? Or the iPhone? Only know in the PC. I'm not sure, Juan, what you're asking. Winter Wolf, ever think of an STRU fund for investment property syndication? Yes, I have. And that's what I was talking about earlier, some sort of crowdfunding. I've got a private placement currently that I've raised some money, and interestingly, a couple of investors from the STRU community have approached me and are investors in my fund, and I really thank them for that. That was not my goal, but they like what they saw and heard and wanted to be a part of it, and so we're doing some of that right now. Any info on a bank that will recognize we talked about that? Hello, Brazil, Roberto. I LLC'd my Airbnb. Yay, do I need to have a license to be the property manager? In most states, you need a real estate license to be a property manager if you are transacting privately. If you are transacting on a platform like Airbnb and VRBO, you can do things that are co-hosts. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't tell you the legalities of all this. I'm just telling you what you've learned, as I'm going to start doing more co-hosting myself and encouraging you guys to do it too. I've already tried Airbnb's income statement, but underwriters always seem to disregard the income from it altogether, since there's no forward signed leases guaranteed income. Brian, go speak to Beyond Mortgage. Happy Valentine's Day, Robert. Guapo, quiet, buddy. My dogs are getting a little antsy. They're kind of like, hey, it's an hour and 2 minutes and we need dinner. So pardon the noises. What do I think about Amazon pulling back from New York City? I think it's short-sighted. Hey, Guapo. Hey, come here. Come here, buddy. It's actually Bo who's causing the trouble. Come here. I think it's very short-sighted on the politicians who say they're trying to help their community, but are actually hurting their community, in my opinion. Now, I understand all the, resistance and giving $3 billion worth of funds. Look at Bo. Hello, buddy. Okay, yeah. Oh, uh-oh. Anyway, I think it's kind of a shame. It would have been really good for the city. The investment idea on the Facebook's a great idea. Hardick just posted it there. Listening while I'm setting up the master bedroom. Awesome. Heads up. Heard about a YouTube glitch on another channel where subscribers were unsubscribed for the channel and didn't know it. Just realized it happened to me on this channel. Yikes! Guys, if you're on this, please make sure that you subscribe. We really appreciate it. The reason it's so important is that's part of like the SEO algorithm for YouTube. When they show you like videos that you might like and so on, that's probably how you found the STRU channel. And that's why channels grow faster. There's an acceleration of the growth rate of the channel with the more people that are on it and liking it and commenting on it and so on and so forth, because it tells YouTube pretty simply like, hey, this is kind of interesting. This guy or channel has some content that people are liking, and so it's good. So that's why we care. I don't particularly care what the number is, but if people want help in the short-term rental space on Airbnb, I would like to help them. And so the best way that I can do that is to reach a larger audience. And the way that we can do that on this channel is people like and comment, tells YouTube to show my little thumbnail and suggested videos to more people, those people that may want help and haven't gotten started or have been fearful. If you think they'd benefit from it, that's why the likes help. You're helping other people learn about me. I was turned down for a mortgage for my Airbnb. A few of the big banks, went to a local bank where the president of the bank lives in town. He saw the potential. If at first, awesome, great for you, Barbara. Persistence, keep going, don't quit. Go talk to 100 banks. I've got dozens of companies that they couldn't get funding. You know, they took 97 no's before they got to their yes. So like, if there's a will, there's a way. Just be persistent and grit and determination and hard work. Like that just wins. My husband and I are mid-20s and own a fourplex and a duplex. And Rebecca, do you know how amazing an opportunity you have in front of you to be in your mid-20s and own a quadplex and now a duplex? That's unbelievable. You are in such a good place. In one of the videos that I'm going to create, we're going to talk about the importance of compounding, and you will see how great a gift it is that you're in your 20s versus somebody like me who's in my 40s. Like, you are going to make a fortune if you do this intelligently and you save and you create a diversified portfolio and you're diligent and hardworking and you listen to some of the free advice that I'm going to give you on how to create diversified portfolios and how to create an entrepreneur. Like, what I would do to be 20 and in your shoes right now, unbelievable. Good for you. Bravo. You said you own this with your husband. Here's what I want you to do, Rebecca. Turn to your husband, kiss him, hug him, wish him a happy Valentine's Day. Congratulations. You've been listening to me for over a year. My videos are awesome. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you. The thumbs up. Hi, what do I think of listing on booking.com? I've never done it. I hear a lot of concerns. I think it's we're the big players, people that have a lot of listings. They love booking.com. I think there's tons of demand, but I think the demand is problematic. Payment can be problematic. The guests don't necessarily know that they're staying in an Airbnb or an STR. They think they're booking a hotel. So like there's some issues around that. But like if you just want bookings and you'll deal with all that stuff, I think it's great. What are my experiences and thoughts about Airbnb Plus? You know, Airbnb is a company that's growing quickly and they're trying to segment the market and they're trying to differentiate the market so that they can be all things to all people. And that's an important thing as a company grows really quickly. They can't be, you know, everything to everyone. So they're starting to segment it. You know, personally, I don't like the way Airbnb Plus listings look. Like, I don't like the way that the photos, I think they've done a poor user experience. So I think it's a nice, you know, accolade to be invited and to be in the program. But from a UX perspective, when this guy books Airbnbs, I almost never book an Airbnb Plus because one, they're more expensive, and two, like I can't see the stuff that I want to see, the full size photos or whatever. Maybe they've fixed that by now, but I was really unimpressed with the platform for Plus. And so I wouldn't want my listing on there. That said, try it, right? Like try anything. Still showing 20K. Rollo, what's going on? Still showing 20K, my man. I'm not sure what that means. You mean 20,000 subs? Let's go. Subscribe, friends. Let's go. Tell your friends about it. Additional revenue streams. Heard today that VR managers provide their own VR trip insurance for guests as additional revenue. Needs a license. Supposed to be pretty easy, though. Worth looking into. That's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you need a license and you can get it done, do it. Say the famous name, Justin Hale. Is my son allowed to look at planes? Great question, Miss Crazy At. I don't know if your son allowed to look at planes. Is it possible to create social media ads for Airbnb listing like Facebook? Also, do you think it would be worth it? Yes, it's a possibility, and currently, no, I don't think it would be worth it. Those are broadcasts to people that may have liked the region, but they may have just returned from it. They may not be going back for some period of time. So if you have a large scale budget, yes, it's probably worth doing. And in the long run, it's a good idea. But if you're worried about, like, you know, if you're trying to generate immediate income, I don't think it's kind of like going fishing in the wrong season. You might catch something, but probably not. Rebecca, bravo. See, people are giving you the thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you. What are some of the other ways to advertise Airbnb listings other than through Airbnb? You know what, Rebecca? If you're doing a good job with your marketing on Airbnb and your area is a good area for Airbnb, I've never needed to do anything other than that. Like literally, that's the thing that I don't understand. There's so many people that are trying to figure out all these additional ways to like work the platform and get higher SEO and more bookings. And it's totally cool to want to make more money. But if you're doing like the very basic stuff really well, you should be at or near full capacity. Now, if you're in a seasonal or cyclical business area, like, yeah, you're not going to book the off months necessarily. But if you're making enough money in the good months, which you should, then the off months is just kind of like, oh, great, that's when I do my maintenance and my cleaning and I go on vacation. And like, that's a nice thing. So like here in Jackson Hole, for instance, I'm a member of a couple of different clubs, and I was riding up the chairlift with the general manager for the food and beverage and the hospitality yesterday. Six gear, really cool guy, worked at the Amangani, if you know that, for like 11 years before he came to this club. And I said, so, you know, what do you guys do come April, which is mud season? All the snow melts and there's no guests here. He said, oh, we literally close down. Everyone takes the month of April and May off. And then we do that again also in the month of, I think he said November. So like professional organizations close or let people go on vacation during that period of time. It's a fallacy that we need to be booked 100% of the time. Like that's never going to happen. And if it does happen, then you're doing way too much work for too little money. Yeah, 20,000 subs. You're not losing any, only gaining. Now I get your point, Anthony. Thank you very much. Great response. Grabaka Max, you know, it's so hard for me to follow. I'm not even sure what the great response was in reference to. Oh, booking.com. Yep, cool. Do I recommend having, do you recommend having multiple properties in the same city to facilitate the management, or is it better to just spread? Hard to find committed prop managers and cleaners for only 1 to 2 properties. Great question, Pedro. I like the way you think, my friend. Here's the deal. You know, as a professional asset manager, somebody that got paid very well, 7 figures, ran a $4 billion portfolio, worked for the finest institutions in the world, and our clients were the finest institutions, insurance companies, banks, wealthy individuals. Like, I worked in like the prime spot for a decade or more after getting my Wharton MBA for my ability to create portfolios that minimized risk and generated big returns. It's like the holy grail. If you can reduce your downside risk and yet make money, that's huge. Normally, when you reduce your downside risk, when you get really conservative, there's a reduction in the amount of money that you make, right? That's why like the savings account at your bank pays you like no interest. It's really safe. That's why bonds pay you a little bit more than that. Maybe it's 3%. That's why when you go into stocks, you won't accept 3%. You need 10%. That's kind of what I was saying about rental arbitrage. If you're making 10% or 12% owning a home on Airbnb, and now you're going to take the additional risks that I see, not everyone sees them or agrees with me, and that's cool. I'm not going to accept 12%. I need to get 20% for the risk that I'm taking. So the answer to your question is, it's really, really obvious to most people that the way to scale your business is to get the neighboring property or the property down the block or the property above you or the property below you, because you've got the cleaning team and you can walk there or whatever, right? Like it's convenient. It's the most risky. That is not the way to scale a business at all. In fact, I just filmed a video. I think Charles will release it, I don't know, in the next week or two. Again, we're going to have more content coming out, so the releases will come out quicker. But the right way from a portfolio optimization perspective, and when I mean optimization, what I mean is lowest risk, highest return, is to diversify your geography. That way, if something happens in your city, regulatory, neighbors, your building, whatever, your business goes on. And then if you want to take it to the next level, what we used to do, the way that we used to think about it was called portfolios within portfolios. So I could have a real estate bucket, and I'm giving away the whole video, but you're still going to watch and you're still going to like it because I hope it's really helpful content. Portfolios within portfolios. So you create a real estate bucket and you're going to allocate whatever percentage to it. Let's call it 25%. And within the real estate bucket, you create sub strategies: short-term rental, industrial, retail, multifamily, whatever. And then you figure out, oh, I'm going to give 5% to my short-term rentals and 5% to multifamily or whatever. Again, it comes down to your risk tolerance and your reward desire. And then within the short-term bucket, you diversify geographically and also by size, right? So like I've got a 4-bedroom in Tulum and I've got a 2-bedroom in London. That's how you generate real wealth. And that's why when one regulation happens or one neighbor or one building or one flood or one natural disaster, your business continues. But when you put them all in one place, even though it seems safe and prudent, like, oh, it's really risky to have something way over there. Nonsense, my friends. That's a fallacy. So I hope you, understood that. Again, I've got a longer video coming out. Brian, I have a 6 family with 5 active Airbnbs. Pro con of allowing my housekeeper to move in. Do not do it. Do not do that. You know why? Because then she becomes the boss and you can never fire her and she can run the business the way that she wants to run the business. She is your employee. She is your maid. She is not the owner of the property. She is not the manager of the property. She is the cleaner of the property. And you do not want her and her sloppiness or her professionalism or lack thereof to influence your business. You don't need to house her. So don't, right? She's already doing it. Monetize the 6th bedroom. Pay her a little bit more, whatever it is. There's a better way to do it. I understand the desire to have somebody on site and on location, but I'm telling you, now imagine trying to extract that person. She or he does something terrible. You need to pull them out. The house is full. It's the holidays. Now's not a good time, but I need to fire her. I've been there a million times, man. Don't take the shortcut. As appealing as it is, it's a shortcut. Shortcuts never win. All right, here's my goal, guys. We have 55 people on the channel right now. We only have 50 likes. Is there not 5 of you who can like push one button for an hour and 15 minutes of what I hope is helpful content? I mean, I would do it for myself, but that's kind of cheating, and I don't like to cheat. All right. In your opinion, which states are the most STR friendly in the US? You know, I don't really have that statistic right now. I operate slightly differently. I operate from a perspective of where do I want to be? And the reason that I do it that way is that generates my why. We got 52 people. 2 people stepped up. And that gives me the lasting power. 3 people, thank you. That gives me the lasting power to keep going there. So when things happen, I still want to go there, so it's cool. But if I was purely doing it as a pure investment and I didn't really care whether it was in Arizona or Ohio or Texas, you know, something's going to happen. The roof is going to cave in. I'll be like, oh, I don't want to go there again. So I just try and do it from an alignment of my why. And I think that makes much more sense in the long run. Hello, I agree with you. Should we eventually not fully depend on it? Yes. You really ought to have your own website. We're creating a tool. Hardik is going to beta test it soon. We'll announce some sort of contest to figure out who beta tests it. We'll let our paying members beta test it, something like that. But basically, it's one click, and boom, you've got a live website instantly, which is really cool. Thank you, Hardik. Don't take the shortcut. That's right, CL. Shortcuts never win, do they? Also, more fun places to visit. Somebody hooked me up. I don't know, Chinese. You know what? My daughter could probably read that, but this guy, no comprende. I don't see the like button. Susie, come on now. I agree with you regarding Airbnb Plus. They came to my property 30 minutes before I guest checkout. You made the deal with the guests at late checkout. Sorry, where is the like button? Somebody help TH Wong out. I can't find the, like, how hard is this button to find? I don't get it. Guys, somebody help a brother out. I'm getting in arguments with my father. He keeps goats near the property. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's hard unless you're operating like a farm experience. Like some people will like that. Most people probably not. In the end, they just send me a fixes list, which are basically scratches. Yeah, you know, Japan. Yeah, I know. Oh, not Chinese. Sorry about that, my friend. You know, to me, it's all hieroglyphics. Thank you, Richard. Where can I find more info about the STRU August meeting in Nashville? I'd definitely be there with my wife. Check it out, my friend. The easiest way to do this, and this goes for everybody, there's 58 people on there. We can get 58 people signed up right now. Go to the website, str.university. There's a little place to put in your email address. Just put your email in there, and we'll keep you informed. I send out really, I think, compelling emails on Sundays, just thoughts, what I'm up to, what's going on. And it seems to resonate with a lot of people. I get a lot of replies back. They're a little different way to interact with me. And so, you know, people seem to like it, and I'm going to keep doing it. But if you're not on the email list, that's the best way to be notified about when we're going on YouTube Live and when we're going to announce the giveaway and when we're going to do the Nashville event in August. So it doesn't cost you anything. We're not going to spam you. I'm not really like, interested in clogging your inbox. I'm just trying to speak to people who want to be notified about things related to this business and are motivated to grow and so on. So there you go. All right. My son is going to court for looking at an airplane in the sky. Miss Crazy I'm terribly sorry. Good luck with that. Here we go. CL Reed, my girl is breaking it down. Here's how you like things, friends. Let's see the numbers jump. We're at 57. You select the thumbs up or down just below the video. I mean, that doesn't seem that hard. So I'd like to see this 57 just increase. All right, we're going to end this thing soon. Alexander, the like button is at the thumbs up right under the video in the middle of the screen. You can't miss it. A thumbs up just so that everyone's on the same page. Like, in case we don't know, this is what it looks like. Boom. Oh, somebody disliked. We were at 57 now. Oh, they came back. Thank God. Have you ever thought about creating a syndicate for STR investors to partner with you? Yeah, Pedro, we talked about that. I've got a couple of current investors in my first fund and really appreciate that. We're going to be raising additional funds and phases for the existing OBX investment. I'm speaking to my lawyers and trying to figure it out. The biggest thing is I don't want to take people's money who aren't in a position to lose it. I don't think we're going to lose it. I think we're going to do quite well, but I just, I'm not the guy that's get rich quick and telling you that there's no risk. There's risk in everything, like every single thing. So I just want to make sure that the people that are on board understand what the risks are and are in a position financially that, God forbid, this thing doesn't work out the way I intend for it. I haven't ruined anybody's life. Like the live chat. Thanks again. Would you like an update? My Bali project is on hold. I don't know whether it'll actually ever take off or not. We're waiting for the tourism board to increase the zoning capabilities in that particular area. And it's starting to happen. There's more and more development, so the land value is increasing. My friend John, who is on the video, he still owns it with my friend Olivier. We talk about it occasionally, but right now we're just sort of in hold mode. And John is an investor in the OBX project with me. So we're getting our kicks and our kiteboarding and our beautiful natural outdoor wilderness stuff going in an area that's ready for the development in the OBX. And then we'll revisit Bali if and when the time is right. Apparently Susie can't find the thumbs up. What do I think commands a higher nightly rate in most cities? A 3-bedroom, 1-bath or 2-bedroom, 2-bath? It depends. If you're renting the whole house, probably 3 beds. But I can see the appeal for 2 beds, 2 baths. Just look on Airbnb. Look for 3 bedrooms in that city with 1 bath and see what they're getting on average, and then do a search for 2 bedrooms and 2 baths and see what they're getting on average. The data's there. Susie, there is no thumb. Esteban, I liked it, brother. Thank you. The like button confusion is due to those watching from the computers versus mobile devices. I recommend having a look in southern Thailand. Would love to show you some of my properties here. Man, I'd love to get to southern Thailand again. Does the thumbs up look like that? Yeah, Anthony, that's exactly what the thumbs up looks like. This hour with you is priceless. Thank you for all the information. Signed up for the email list already. Can't wait for the updates on the Nashville August meeting. I'm telling you right now, I am so pumped about this August thing. I am really putting a lot of time and energy into expanding your mind, expanding your opportunity set, expanding your knowledge. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we focus on short-term rentals and growing your business immediately. And the reason that we're focusing on the short-term rental increase in profitability immediately is because I want you to take that money and invest it and compound it and do really great things with it so that in 5 years or in 10 years or in 20 years, you look back and say, holy smokes, that insane dude from Jackson Hole with the long hair, he changed my life. It's great that I'm changing your life and helping you get started on short-term rentals, and that's really motivating. That's short-term. What I really want to do is set you guys all up so that if you get tapped on the shoulder like I did, look, I was at the top hedge funds in the world for 10 years after getting a Wharton MBA. I made millions of dollars. I don't like to talk about it because it's still in the back of my mind, something I don't talk about. I got to get over that. But it's legit. I did this. I ran a $4 billion hedge fund until I didn't. I got fired in one day, in one instant. I never saw it coming. And I had to have the resourcefulness to stand up and figure it out and rebuild. And I don't want that to happen to any of you. I said something to, I think it was my girlfriend earlier today. The riskiest thing in the world that you can do today in 2019 is follow the mainstream guidance. Study hard, get a great job, work really hard, work in your career, do this. You know what? Almost every single thing that applies to, artificial intelligence and robotics can do today, right now. Let's use my ex-wife as an example. She's a world-class knee surgeon, like the best in the world, incredibly skilled, just amazing, talented. You know what? Robots can virtually do, if not every single thing that she does, almost everything she does today. So why doesn't a robot replace her right now? It's kind of like self-driving cars. Self-driving cars work today. The reason self-driving cars get into accidents is because humans are in the other car. Why don't self-driving cars take over the world right now? We as humans are not quite ready, right? There's like political reasons that it doesn't quite happen. But for my kids, 14 years old, 17 years old, do I want them to be doctors or lawyers, conservative, great jobs? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What I want them to be is resourceful, like Jeff Bezos said, with 9 fingers. This is all they need. They need the ability to think outside the box, be creative, take small risks, learn from their mistakes, keep going, like Lindsey Vonn, 30, 30, 30, 28, 28, 28, 26, 28, 26, 28, 19, and keep going. That's what it's going to take in the next era. The fallacy of conservatism is going to lead directly to mediocrity. Let's say that again. The fallacy of conservatism is going to lead directly to mediocrity. Now, if you want mediocrity, that's a great recipe. Go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not telling you that you should aspire for more. But if in listening to this for an hour, like Pedro said, this has been really helpful, then my goal is to help you make more money in short-term rentals and save that money, not spend it, not have a flashy car, not go out for dinners, not do all that stuff that feels good in the short term, but let's be really wise and really prudent, and let's build out a portfolio of stocks and bonds and real estate and generate like compounded wealth over decades. That means that, these people that were 20, I forget their name, the husband and wife, if they're not worth $10 million by 65 years old, I have screwed up. Like, they're in such a good position with compounded returns that literally with 40 years of investment opportunities and proper portfolio creation, congratulations, Rebecca and your husband, you guys are worth $10 million or more. Now, I haven't said it's easy. I haven't said it's quick. I haven't told you about the scam or this thing that I'm selling or how easy it is. I'm telling you the exact opposite. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of calculated risks. It takes a lot of dedication, devotion, perseverance. You're going to make mistakes. But if you do all that, and you can, your life will never be the same. And you will leave stuff for your kids, allowing them to do things that you couldn't do, and your grandkids, and allowing them to get educated, and so on and so forth. And that's just like, that's my why. As much as I want you to make $27 more per night and $12,000 more per year and scale, what I really want you to do is to make $12,000 more per year and put that into a diversified portfolio outside of short-term rentals. How's that? Like short-term rental university telling you to invest outside of short-term rentals. That's smart, my friends. That's prudent. That's how you build wealth. That's how you build a diversified portfolio. And if you're still on here and you're one of the 60 people that like this and you found this interesting, then you're really going to like the content that we're coming out with, because it's all about that. And you're not getting that anywhere else. There's very few people I know that have the knowledge and the capabilities and have managed a $4 billion portfolio with an MBA. And like those people, they think I'm an idiot for being on YouTube and telling you all this, right? Like they hoard that. Like that's their secret sauce. Why? I want to help people. So that's kind of a little sneak preview where we're going. I hope you found this interesting. There's no like button on the iPhone app. Oh my. I don't believe that. I came way too late. How often do you do these live chats? Patrick, we're going to start doing them once a week. We're going to be a little bit flexible because my travel schedule in 2019 is insane. When doing taxes as a real estate investor, how do you balance keeping the net big enough to qualify for loans, but not too big where you pay too much taxes and lose on liquidity? Pedro, a very good question. You know what? Most banks know what's going on, and they add back the depreciation and all that stuff. And, whatever you fudge with a meal here and a travel there, like they all know about that. So just work with your CPA and make sure that, you're doing a conservative approach, that you're showing income, but not too much because you're paying taxes. Nashville, you have 3 properties. Oh, Pedro, you're totally coming to this thing. I'm just trying to break into this. I have a little bit of money, but not for long. Okay, good. Nashville, Robert, I love it. After some positive cash flow from my first, what do you suggest I invest in to compound wealth? Lisa, that's a long, dedicated question. It's hard for me to answer. I need to know your status, married, single, young, old, what your dependents are. I mean, it's a long, long thing, but we're going to start delving into some of that in the future content, giving you like benchmark things to start to think about. But the goal here is to be extremely successful and wealthy when you need it most. And what do I mean by that? All the things like Social Security and 401k and all of this stuff is really good stuff because it defers income, it's forced savings, and it's non-taxed and so on. So like it's doing what I'm suggesting that you do. Here's the problem. It was created in a generation when the average life expectancy was like 83 or 85 or whatever the number was. You know what's happening now? We're all healthier. We all live longer. There's advances in medicine and technology and science. And so like the average age is no longer 83. It's maybe like 100 years old. And the problem is, if you've been working your entire life to retire at 75 and counting on Social Security, that's only supposed to last you until you're 85. But if you live another 15 years, which is happening every single day, where's that money come from? And I said this before, I don't know if it was on the last live chat or whatever it was, but you're going to keep hearing me say it until like it sinks in and it resonates. I do not want to run out of money when I'm 85. No, I do not want to be looking for a job when I'm 85. Ever. I don't want my kids looking for a job when they're 85. So knowing what I know now, it means I need to save more now and have more money later because I'm going to live longer. So you guys need to do the same thing. It's not rocket science. If you plan on living a long, healthy life, you're going to need more money. Right now, we're all probably in the prime of our earnings, with the exception of Rebecca and her husband, God bless them. Most of us are probably between 30 and say 60. This is our prime earning season. Once you get past that, you are worth less on the market. In fact, getting a job becomes harder and harder, and it becomes, a real challenge. So let's just not be needing a job when we're 60. Now, if you are 60, we can start to diversify and get more short-term rentals and get some more income, and you're in a different stage in the portfolio and everything is fine. Like it's good. Life is good. I don't want you to worry about that. But if you're younger and you have this knowledge and you have the ability to save for 20, 30, 40, 50 years of compounding, you're a multimillionaire and you don't know it. You just need the tools to get you there. And that's what I want to teach you. We're going to get really in depth in some of this stuff over the long run. It's not, I went to Wharton for 2 years to learn this stuff. And then I practiced it on Wall Street for 10 years thereafter. And before I did that, I was a trader at the Mercantile Exchange and the Board of Trade. And so like, this isn't something that just came to me overnight. This isn't something that I read one book about. I've read hundreds of books. I've managed millions, billions of dollars. And I've learned, and, I'm not saying I'm right, just one person's approach. But if it resonates with you, run with it, because I'm not trying to do anything other than help you. All right, guys, we're going to end this in 5 minutes. It's Valentine's Day. My girlfriend is in New York. She's flying here tomorrow. She just texted me that she's going to bed soon. She wanted to know if I'm still doing the live. I'm going to share some of the love with her that I'm encouraging you to do with your loved ones. And if you don't have a loved one, I said this on the Facebook Live, I'm your Valentine. I've got so much love. I want millions of Valentines. And CL, still gunning for you, baby. Just know it. I'm coming at you. If you're counting on Social Security being there when you retire, I'm 33. You're going to, no doubt about it. Oh, 1 second, guys. I got to text her. She says she's going to sleep. I'm just going to tell her good night. Anyway, you're 100% right. Fundmeister, thank you. We really try our best to stay away from HOAs. You know what? Check out what I did in the OBX. HOA. The HOA allows properties to be rented. Historically, as I've said, it's not short-term rentals. It's week to week, Saturday to Saturday, bring your own sheets. So I had my lawyer look at it and he's like, well, it's vague, so you can do it. And I said, you know, it's not a risk I'm willing to take. So before I closed on the land, I went to the owner, the developer, the person that owns the land and is also managing the HOA, and said, we're in contract to buy this. I need the language changed. My lawyer wrote this, and now it's explicitly stated that's allowed. So like, there's nothing wrong with HOAs. It's only if you're trying to like skirt, slide, hope they don't notice. I'm in a building right now in Jackson Hole. I'm on the board of the HOA. The HOA allows short-term rentals. I did an investment property, 2 of them on the Snake River Sporting Club. There's an update video about the returns that I generated doing that investment, right? I went away from the really risky thing. I went away from the really conservative thing, which was the stock market. Most people would think that was conservative relative to short-term rentals. I said, I don't like the market. It's on the YouTube channel back in October. I made the call 2017. I don't like the stock market where it is. I'm taking money out. I'm buying these other investments. And then I just did an update video. Here's where we are. Here's what the return is. Here's what the S&P is. I'm not going to ruin the surprise for you, but I think you'll find it kind of interesting. And that's another case in point where I need you to stop thinking that what consensus is right. You want to be a contrarian. Consensus is wrong. Consensus leads you to mediocrity. Again, to the extent that that's cool, like if that's your aspiration, cool. This dude is not going to be one of them. You know, either I'm going to die well before then from skiing or some crazy shit. Kiteboarding, who knows, right? Like I'm taking risks. I'm enjoying life to the fullest. I'm also being really healthy and very fit and doing all sorts of things to make sure that I live a very long, healthy life. And if I do, it's going to be a rich, healthy life, right? Like I'm going to continue traveling. I'm going to continue doing stuff. I'm not going to be worried about like living on a fixed income and running out of money. That can't happen. So anyway, friends, I'm going to say goodnight. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for spending it with me. Please turn your attention to your friends, family, loved ones. Give them a hug, give them a kiss. I know it's a Hallmark holiday, but who cares? Share the love, enjoy them. That's what life's all about. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week. I don't know exactly when or why. Please go ahead and like the video. I don't know, comment, yes, comment, whatever. And don't forget, team accountability in the Facebook group. I'm going to go over there now. I hope to see 20 people who've signed up and said, Richard, please help me. I want to be held accountable. I want to grow. Here's what I need help with. Here's the date and time. Mario, Hardick, Chris, I'm going to go love my girlfriend. Good night, my brother, Oak Hill. Boom, 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 boom. See ya. Have a great night, friends.